Hello everyone, Ban here, and today we're gonna continue the Bean Counter, episode 3. Alright, is he just babysitting him now? So the previous episode, number 2, they slept together and all of that, and then he was managing his, what do you call it? Magicular particles. So Seii-san needs to eat more low magical food in order to build up that resistance. So Indolark, is he babysitting him now? But based on the conversation at the restaurant where he is like irritated with him, I think it's more so from the perspective that he doesn't care enough about himself, like he's overworking himself. But ultimately, right, I think he's starting to catch the feels, but also at the same time, he's kind of babysitting him. He even knows what flavor he likes now. Dude is falling hard and fast. What is this? Okay. Maybe I can also understand, right? Because this is the first guy that maybe he slept with, because he seems like the very cold, dull type that fixates, on like one objective or one goal. And I wonder if Seii-san is the first person that he's been like interested in, and as a result, it kind of triggers that first love type dedication. Is he that type, you guys? I feel like he's that type. He is like very dedicated. And here you have this guy, Seii-san. He's more like pragmatic. He's all about work. And he's like, what's going on? How do I deal with this? I guess he's appreciating Indolark, but at the same time, it's like, it's a little overbearing. I don't know. That's what I get from him, because he's like, is this really necessary? Wait. So, is this like, I feel like, is this going to be one of those one-sided love at first, and then it progresses? Indolark is going to be the one a bit more chasing. Or Seii-san is just, because he's so pragmatic, he's just dense. He has no experience with romance. Because, being the whole corporate slave trope and all, in the parallel world to his actual world, he didn't have time to date. So he doesn't really know what flirting is, or he doesn't realize that Indolark is maybe potentially pursuing him romantically at this point. But I'm even wondering if at this point it's a bit too early to say that, because Indolark, he may not even have realized his feelings yet. No, he didn't. No. Oh my gosh. I'll just take my work home. No, boy. What happened to that work-life balance? Guys, work-life balance is so important so that you don't burn out. Don't follow Seii-san's footsteps. Does he know? Does he know he's taking work home and he's here to stop him? That's right, boy. That's right. He is pretty much a caretaker now. Did he just say that? That's okay. Pragmatic side, right? I understand that, but from the actual deed, it seems odd for him to be saying he would like to repay Indolark for that type of intimacy that they just had. It seems more like, I don't know, insinuating almost like he's a prostitute. I don't know if that's appropriate. I totally understand from his perspective though, but if I was Indolark, I would be a bit more thrown off. Oh my god, see? You guys see what I mean? You see what I mean? Seii-san, be a little more sensitive, kind of like Dash and Dying last time when they woke up in the morning and he's like, I'm late for work, and now he's like, let me pay you. Come on, Seii-san. Why does he smile like that? Was that like a smile of relief because Seii-san is not going to take the tonic anymore? Which makes sense. It's almost, I don't know what that means. I mean, a sense of relief now that his potential love interest is being more considerate of his own health, and he's just, I guess, relief because he doesn't have to worry about him potentially risking his life to work, right? Which is a little ridiculous to say, like risking his life to work. Seii-san needs to learn how to mellow out. Is he really gonna stop drinking them tonics? Guys, I just said that, and this boy, isn't this that tonic shop? What is he doing in here? How can he just have that conversation with Indolark and then goes here? What is wrong with you, Seii-san? What are you doing? Okay. It's pretty much the script right now. He just seems... It just doesn't make sense because I understand that Seii-san is a workaholic, but he's a very smart individual, right? So why would he not prioritize his health first? I mean, he had to have intimacy with a total stranger just to maintain his health. Isn't that uncomfortable? Like, why would you choose that route, a potential route again? And this Indolark guy, why is... Right? Total stranger again. But he's just so over... I don't know. Is he overprotective? I would say he's almost overprotective, like stepping over the bounds, because getting Seii-san to eat his meals and everything, like lunch, dinner, and now kind of following him. It's a little... I don't know. Is this a little stalkery? But anyways, but not in like a creepy way in this sense, but at least he's managing his health. I don't know if it's more like an overbearing partner in this sense. But I mean, nothing has really developed yet relationally. The relationship hasn't really developed in that sense. Like, how many days has it been? They've only maybe slept together like yesterday, right? And this Indolark guy is all of a sudden, I feel like, almost intruding in Seii-san's life or daily life, and now almost taking over or managing it in a sense. Well, I guess that makes sense because the title of the episode is what is it? I Get a Manager or something like that. Isn't that a little overstepping, telling the shop not to sell him anything at all? What if he needs something besides that magical rest tonic? What if he injures himself? But then again, even if he injures himself, right, because he has that resistance, he can't really use anything else. So it's like mixed feelings about this point right now, about Indolark's actions towards Seii-san. Right? Is it potentially abuse of power? I understand, like, it comes from a more caring perspective, but at the same time, that's not a good power dynamic to have right from the beginning of this relationship. Like, long-term wise, what does that develop into? I feel like this is not going to be one of those 18 plus toxic relationship that develops, you know? But if it was an actual relationship and this is how it develops, I'm very hesitant about this. Okay, so he has a headache and he's being healed. The singing just throws me off so much. Like, is the singing really necessary? Can't we just chant or like just in silence heal and use that magic, you know? The singing is different, but it just feels like an extra flavor that's not needed in this dish right now. This is it's an interesting scenario because magic is poisonous to him, but then Indolark has to kiss him to remove that toxin in a sense. So Indolark himself is poisoning Seii-san and healing him afterwards. So I am not sure about the author's intent for how this relationship is built. Because Seii-san just had that headache, and in order to heal that, he uses magic, which is such a convenient, right? Because he potentially harms Seii-san, but doesn't let him drink the tonic. So that's a rather possessive trait, no? Like, only he can harm Seii-san and only he can heal him. I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, all right, let's see how this progresses. Wait, I must have missed it because Indolark has a special ability or constitution with his magic where what is it? Like close intimacy, a physical touch takes away magical particulars. Magiculars. Our I don't remember that word, you guys. Sorry. But anyways, I'm just gonna say magic particulars from now on. I know it's not that, but yes. So through the physical interaction, he's able to like absorb it or remove it from an individual. Was that what he said? I think maybe it was episode 2 that it was mentioned. But that's not magic. It's just something special to him because no one else can really do it. He kisses him and just walks away. Boy. Wait. What? Oh, okay. So Seii-san has had romantic relationships. Okay. Not a true corporate slave. Not a... just kidding. Just kidding. But anyway, so he... Okay, so okay, that's interesting. So it's not like he doesn't know what flirting is. So he's not dense. He's just choosing to ignore it because at this point, I would say Seii-san is in a sense pursuing him. Or if someone is doing this much for you out of their own kindness, it's a little weird, I would say. Okay, what does he say? Which is how I know our relationship is strange, even for another world. How would Seii-san know that this relationship is strange for this world, right? Because I don't know. I mean, so far he hasn't really looked into I wonder if he has looked into the cultural aspect of this, if like a same-sex relationship is accepted or not in this world. But I mean, saying that, if he thinks about it, is he just talking about the interaction or their actual potential romance? I don't think he has any romantic feelings at this point, does he? He's definitely gonna create some enemies by just rejecting their requests like that. This dude is so nonchalant about those rejections. I think at this point, because he's just an accountant, he's not really thinking about the politics that takes place here. All right, guys. For some reason, right? I had well, okay, not really, but the prime minister. I was hoping for him to be like second male lead kind of thing, but I don't. I don't think that's the case. I don't know. I could be wrong. I think that would be more interesting, right? So that their relationship could develop. Because it seems like when he was writing earlier, it seems like he was implying that potentially he realizes that Indolark might be romantically interested in him. Because when he was talking about relationships and all that. So I don't know. Is Prime Minister second male lead at all? Because that would be interesting for him to pursue him and have that conflict and Seii-san. That would make a little more sense. Because I don't know if I want Seii-san to just fall in love with Indolark. I want more drama. All right, second male lead, right? I feel like this prime minister would be like the sugar daddy potential because he's got the power and he's got that deep voice and everything. Yep. All right, that's a valid question and all, but also at the same time, he's been really busy. Dude pretty much almost died, and now he's having physical intimacy with another dude. I feel like he has enough on his plate where the maiden is very secondary. And also, when he was trying to give her advice earlier, she outright rejected him. So I can understand Seii-san. You don't need to like care about her at this point right now. You know, you got your own struggles. It's enough on your plate. Why is the prime minister trying to fish like that, huh? See, that's a fair point. Let's see. If I was in that position, you know how when you're on the airplane and they give you that introductory speech where for the air mask that drops down, the thing to do is first secure yourself, then secure your child. I think it's the same in this situation, because if you don't have the means to protect this individual, right, and they're not in a very bad position to begin with. If anything, she's in a better position than he is, right? So gaining the power or resources to then even protect her would make more sense, because if she is in a position of power and resources over you, why would she listen to you? Like, what means, through what means? Because she totally dissed him earlier. So I don't think it would make sense for him to continue persuading her, because I don't know, I guess call it leverage. He has no leverage here for her to really listen to him, other than just his age. Like, what else can he do? Oh my god, exactly. That's what I just said. Like, she's being protective and has more resources than him. He just said that too, Yeah. Seii-san and I, we are in the same wavelength. It's like, why should I like, if someone else is in a better position than me of power and resources, it doesn't make sense for me to try to protect that person. It should be the opposite, Like, why hasn't the maiden inquire about him? What about that? Why should he be the one that inquires about her? Has she inquired about him? They came from the same world. Why is it like his responsibility to inquire and potentially take care of her when she is the one in power here? Okay, but then again, we did learn that she's the minor, so it's like, I'm not expecting that from her, but the expectation just seems a bit off. But I understand that the prime minister is just, probing. I don't know for what though. So you see how prime minister is like, I like that rational and cunning side of you. He could be second male lead. My ship has not sunk yet, or drama, you guys. Wait, what happened all of a sudden? Like, why did? So does he just have like allergies, magical like allergies to this world, because the particles are just everywhere? Or he's just not eating enough, because he said he only drank tea, and now we have to heal him again. What is this? I feel like we're putting Seii-san in a very oppressive relationship. Like, he can't even manage what he drinks freely. Okay, maybe it's just the early phases where we need to identify what foods and drinks are safe for him. I can understand that, but this just does not seem healthy. But at the same time, it drives the story forward, because Indolark constantly has to come to his rescue and kisses him in order to heal him of these magiculars. Okay, for real, give me a break. For real, as a viewer, I'm also like, give me a break. We are both adults here. Well, okay, Seii-san is in his, I think he just hit like 30, and Indolark is younger, but I can't remember if we said his age. He's in his 20 something. Let's just, I think 27. Why doesn't he just make a list for Seii-san? When you go get your allergy test, they give you a list. They give you a list of what you can't eat or can't drink and so on. So why doesn't Seii-san just ask for that list? That would be more, I think that would make the story a bit more realistic, because of how smart Seii-san is, and as an accountant and at running the datas and all that. Why wouldn't you have an Excel or the list of what you can consume, and then the story would be more like, okay, but then that would remove the situations, right, where Indolark has to go and save him. But then it could be just Seii-san forgetting that he can't, or something like that. But I think just that makes the story a little bit better for me, just in the sense of it being more realistic. and more aligned with like his pragmatic character. Okay, I kind of understand from both their positions. Seii-san, I think Seii-san makes more sense. Well, actually, from a business perspective, I think Indolark makes more sense because there's up to a certain point where there is a knowledge gap, right? When you're in a leadership role, that knowledge gap is made, and you want to hire people who you know are competent and maybe even potentially much more knowledgeable uh in a domain for them to execute above your level. And I think from a leadership perspective, the role is very different. I think Sei-san's position and Indolark's position are different. I'm gonna say Sei-san is more so in the manager role, whereas Indolark is more so in a director's role. Because a manager is, I'd say, more hands on, and there is less of that knowledge gap, right? Versus a director. As you get higher up, I feel like it's more conceptual, where you have to execute, you make the plan, but the execution you can have your manager or the lower tier execute that. So I understand from both their perspective, but I think they're just on different levels in the organization, and there are just different knowledge gap levels. So it's a fair argument from both sides. Oh, why would he refer to him? Oh man, that's a big disc. I feel like he's just saying how disparaging their position is, and Indolark like grew up with a silver spoon, and he wouldn't understand the situation of a lowly commoner. I'm not sure. That was not necessary, Sei-san. He's just trying to be nice to you. That's such a valid question. Does Sei-san not realize that he's obsessed with work to the point where he almost died? That is such a valid point. It's like, going to therapy and you tell them what's going on, and they're pointing out just just such an obvious thing. And this whole time, it's like you realize it, but you need a third party to really say it to your face for you to actually internalize it. And this, I can't believe Sei-san. Well, for Sei-san's perspective, right? I don't know if, well, okay, obviously he doesn't think he's obsessive with work. I think it's more so he's motivated. I would say he's motivated and very driven, right, to climb the corporate ladder, because before he was transported to this world, he was trying to get a promotion. Sei-san, is there a void in your life where it's like you have to have that purpose or else life is meaningless kind of thing? But that's like, oh no, no, no. If it was me, I'm like, find some other purpose outside of work, like hobbies. Sei-san, what hobbies do you have? The conversation is interesting because it's just going back and forth. I mean, at the baseline, because they're both in different positions, right? Because I guess Sei-san, lowly commoner that he is throwing shade back to Indolark, where it's like you don't know the financial matters of the kingdom because you just don't pay attention to it. You have your lackeys do all this work. So I think that is a potential fail, right? If he was in a director's position and he doesn't know, because that is something high level that you should know about your company. Well, this sense kingdom. But that is like, as a commander, is it his job to know all this? Because he's not the prime minister or the king, right? Like who is there? I don't know. Is it a CFO? No, CFO is like Google time. Okay, yeah, I was right. CFO, Chief Financial Officer. See, very fair point. Because if the director jumps in and works overtime and that trickles down to the expectation of their subordinates, right? And that is just not a healthy culture. But I can also understand, because you're in a higher position, you have more duties and tasks and all of that. But also, does that come down to a competency level? That work-life balance, you guys, I still think that is the most important for like a long-term stability, and not having that burnout. Because it depends on culture too, especially I think more so in Asia. If your higher up is still working, it can be it can be an expectation where you kind of have to stay in the office until they leave. Okay. Sei-san, was that like subliminal? Hey, I don't think this relationship is healthy for us, and even within this world, is Sei-san trying to slow like um what is it? Reject Indolark already, giving him the like nudge, nudge. This is not gonna work out. Why don't you invite someone else? That's what it seems like. I don't know. Did he? Maybe he didn't mean that. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Because he is still worried about their relationship. It were to develop further, right? Because he did say it's also not normal in this world. And then in the previous conversation, they just talked about the despairing social position, right? Where as Indolark is nobility and he is just a lowly commoner. So many subtleties. I don't know if Sei-san processed that right. I think he's just implying you're special to me. That's why I bring you here and no one else. Like, boy, come on. Dang, he totally rejected the maiden for Sei-san. Won't she know like who he's having lunch with and all that stuff? Okay, you see how free her life is and everyone is all catering to her. So this is she being spoiled? I don't know. Like no one's really being strict with her besides Sei-san and their previous conversation where conversation. Did I say confrontation? Because in my mind that's that's what I was thinking and that's what came out like halfway. Yeah. Like giving her any criticism because it doesn't look like anyone in this kingdom does because they're all relying on her and all that, which is expected. You don't want to upset the maiden that's gonna potentially save your whole kingdom. Is she gonna like okay, so I think maybe my idea for prime minister is most likely not gonna be second male lead, but he's gonna be a plot device to help nudge their relationship a little. I don't even think the maiden is in the position or league to help push their relationship because Indolark just does not care about her enough. Yep, just totally rejects her. Girl, rejected. the the way in which she was like so excited and saw Sei-san, girl, I what was she 16? I think she knows, right? Who's he's interested in at this point. She can't be that dense. Okay, she is that dense. Ah! Oh my god. She's just throwing off the shade. She's like, and working when you don't have to, you really are a corporate drone. Oh, what is going on? Okay, does this girl know what she's saying? She knows. She's just throwing shade because Indolark is giving attention to Sei-san. Like, come on now. That is so rude to say. What the hey? Indolark is just like spilling the beans of what Sei-san is into at this point in front of everyone. Yeah. So I guess socially he just doesn't care what everyone else thinks, right? And that's like, why would it matter to him when as the maiden over here is trying to pursue him and Sei-san here is trying to be considerate of everyone. See, I can totally ship maiden Oh my god, I forgot his name already. I'm gonna just call him Puppy. All right. What's it? Oh my god, I can't remember his name. Blanche? That was his last name, right? What is his first name? Anyways, Maiden and Puppy. I can ship them. I can see this ship passing. Dang, this guy is a bit overbearing. No, like, how can you just yell like that? That is just so rude, my dude. I feel like this guy, this character is gonna be a problem in the future where how much he what is this, and in matter state and remain unfazed, how much he is obsessing over the maiden in her like position. This guy's gonna be one of the villains ish. Bullying, I don't know. Where does that come from? How is Seii-san, where does that rumor come from that Seii-san was just stalking her? That doesn't even make sense. Low, he just got rejected for Oh, he's 22. I thought he was like giving vibes of the 27 with how accomplished he is. But he's only 22 and 8 years apart. That's not a deal breaker. That's not that bad. You know, as long as you both love each other, it doesn't matter the age gap. And you know, unless you're a gold digger. Oh, she is okay. She is only 16. 16, 18, 22, and then 30. Oh, Seii-san is in his 30. So, yeah, that makes more sense. He's much more chill. He's lived that life. Whereas Indolark, he's only 22. That's like really young. You're in like college. Oh, so I can understand where he doesn't really maybe understand his feelings yet. No, I think he does know because because he was upset when Seii-san's like, yeah, I don't date people like younger than me, and then he was like all depressed about that. So I think he does realize his feelings, his romantic feelings for Seii-san at this point. Yep. Whoa, possessive much. Oh, and in front of everyone too. I guess it was added load because he was already upset about potentially being rejected, and then she goes and it's like, oh my god, he could potentially be killed kind of thing. So I understand. This whole familiarizing yourself with the magical energy. So ultimately, what is he saying? They would just have to have a lot of shebanging in order for him to familiarize himself with Indolark's magic, and then he could create that barrier. What a convenient, troublesome predicament. Oh, this is endearing. Now he's actually asking about it. Oh, this. All right, this is cute. This is cute. See, this is the kind of stuff that I enjoy. The more romance side of the story. I think that's a valid point in terms of like the age gap and having different values because of that. Because you've experienced more in life, so you perceive life differently. You're at a different stage in life. With the 8-year gap, someone that is potentially in college and someone that's actually working, so I guess for example, I guess for me it would be maybe a financial difference, right, that you may have. But in their position, I think it's what would be the difference in value for them? I feel like for Seii-san, it would be more of the social structure, the gap in that, in nobility. And also, I think for him, it's just the same sex potential issue. That was his original concern. But yeah, I think different circumstances in life, just based on age and what you've experienced, is a good point in terms of values. Yeah, guys, being in a relationship is a struggle, and constant maintenance is needed. I think that's one of the important things, right? When you start dating, I think dating for fun is fine, like where you explore and get and learn about what you want in a relationship. Like that's the fun aspect of it. the whole value thing, that's where you really learn, because the more you interact with people, the more self-reflection or reflected you get back. You learn more about yourself, and then once you're at the point where it's like, oh, I want to settle down and build a relationship, that long-term relationship, and start a family and all that, that's when you start dating with more intent, right? Because you've already weeded out all the characteristics or traits that you've identified are not desirable in a relationship, or that doesn't work well for you. And that's where you go on dates and you're like, I love the interview style. Let's just get straight to the point, saves you some time. And that's where you figure out each other's core values right away, so that you don't waste each other's time dating for like a few months and then you realize, oh, we both don't, like, one partner wants kids and the other doesn't. So I've always been a fan of the whole interview process. Not intrusive, of course, where you don't just straight out ask, oh, what's your salary? What's your annual salary? You more so deduct as like, okay, my minimum requirement is at least you have a car, so there's transportation and there is more freedom for when and where we can meet. Not that it's a deal breaker, but I think for me, it's more of when you start to date someone, I have to see the potential, right? The potential for financial and emotional stability. I think that potential is very important, because even if they don't currently have it, they can obtain it in the future. So, yeah. Yep. That is. I didn't mean to like tangent like that, go on the whole dating conversation, but that is my perspective of it. Okay, this prime minister, how old is he? I feel like maybe he's in his 40s or 50s. Is he married? Then my ship will. I mean, this ship is never gonna sail. But you know what? One can only imagine. It's like, is he gonna have a wife and then a daughter and all this stuff? Okay, so the Holy Maiden is at a point where she can go and, I guess, suppress the miasma. I wonder once she gets exposure to that, how she'll react, because she was all gung ho on like, oh, being their holy savior and the only one that can do it. But now that she actually has to face the miasma, I'm curious on how she will react. Okay, what's gonna happen, because the music changed and then someone's following him? Is he gonna be bullied and kidnapped and then blah 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 blah? What is it? Is it? Oh, it's three people. There are three shadows. Okay. All right. I'm gonna say it's that guard guy of the Holy Maidens, because he was really upset with a Seii-san potentially being interested in the maiden. But then, that doesn't really make any sense, because he already said, like, because of the age gap, he's not interested in her. But I think he's still salty about it. And then we have two other people. Who could it be? Probably the, what was that one guy where he was coming to request the budget from him, but he kept on rejecting? And then all of a sudden, when Indolark was like working in his office, what was that one guy's name? Matthew? I don't know. The two subordinates that he was mentioning, all of a sudden, like, why aren't they here? Like, I don't know. Why would he just randomly mention that? Unless they are here. Oh, confirmation that he he has totally fallen for Seii-san. Even though he finds him infuriating, it's also like he can't stop taking care of him. Yes, I am here for this. Oh, his first love. It is his first love. Oh, okay. That makes it even more cute. Okay. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do with Seii-san being hurt and all that? Okay, guys. Let me go. What the heck was... Wait. What are his hands doing? Is he like in dramatic theater explaining right now? This is the stuff that throws me off with the storytelling. Minor stuff like this, like that's so not necessary with the hands. It's just an eyesore. Oh, this doctor knows too. Wait. So what? Okay. So this doctor is like, he can cure him, but then he chooses not to because of Indolark's, I guess, possessiveness or position in which he doesn't want to get in between of. But then I thought this whole time only Indolark was able to heal Seii-san, but that's not the case. But does Seii-san know that? And that's where we have a bit of that potential toxicness, possessiveness come in again, which I'm not a fan of. And now that I've learned that the doctor, could heal Seii-san too, but chooses not to. That's not right. See, the prime minister is asking all these good questions, like, why do you have to leave? Yeah, I would ask that too. We all know what's gonna go down. Wait, that's weird to say because he's unconscious. All right. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Now that he's saying this, so then the doctor can't heal him because he doesn't know Seiichiro's constitution. I guess, which is fair. But then as a doctor, isn't that where you run the diagnosis to figure out their constitution and to know where their health status is? Okay, otherworld logic. I understand why the prime minister is staying. I think he sees Seii-san as an asset to the kingdom, and that's why he's worried because he's valuable. Why would those three even do that? Because if they don't kill him off, he obviously knows that it's them and it's gonna get back to them, right? And then he's in a position where he interacts with the prime minister and Indolark, and he's in a managerial position, so he has some sort of status and people would know. Why would they do that? Because as far as I know, those three are in a position of power where they can override him. It just doesn't make sense. Wait a minute. See, wait. Okay, let me just play this for a few more seconds. This is what I was hesitant about at first because he was unconscious because, he was beat up and all. And in order to heal him, do they have to do the hanky-panky? And that's just... I know it's for healing him, but it's still because he's unconscious. It makes me slightly uncomfortable about this. And he's all sweaty and all this stuff. So they're just doing a bit more. Just him being unconscious throws me off, But also at the same time, I understand it's to save him. I don't know. Mixed feelings about this, you guys. What do you think? Is the whole concept of consent and all that, especially when he's unconscious. But I understand from the perspective of the storytelling, the convenience of it, is that when they're doing this, it's always only to heal him and not for the pleasure of it. So in a sense, Indolark is more so helping and what do we say? I wouldn't say he's like self-sacrificing himself for it or anything, but it does take up his magic. And Seii-san here, yeah, he's just like, thank you, please heal me. Okay. What he said, oh, his voice is hoarse. I was thinking of something else, but at first, and the moaning and all that stuff. But then I was like, oh, get your shites together, because it's not that, because I think it was the singing healing magic. That's how their chanting works in this world. That's why his voice is hoarse. Right? That's what I'm saying. Incredibly convenient for our main character. Yes, a two powerhouse at your back. Come on, boy. Wait, where did that come from? Like, what? That ripped piece of cloth. Was that when Seii-san, I don't know, there was that nail on the floor. Was he able to pick that up and then like, I don't know, rip his clothing for some reason? But that doesn't make sense why that would be left behind, because like if a piece of cloth from, you know, if your pants got torn like that, wouldn't you be able to feel it? And like, why would you leave it behind? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, is this guy I don't know, is he vice captain or whatever? Is he gonna figure out that this is Indolark's crush right now? Come on, please figure it out. Oh, I was right. He used the nail to tear off his pants, but still, that doesn't make sense, you guys. That's a big ass tear. That's a big ass tear for you not to realize. And then it's with a nail. Like, wouldn't it? How did he even do that when he was beat up? It doesn't make sense. This part doesn't make sense to me. I know. Why would they do something so stupid? This type of incident is it really necessary to drive the story along? I mean, from Indolark's side, I don't even think it's that relevant, right? I mean, they're physically they connected and all that, but maybe from the prime minister's side, this is the reason to give to give Seii-san more authority so that he gains more respect with this whole like how the rest of their community only sees him as a tag along to the maiden. So I can see this from the prime minister's side, but from Seii-san's, why do I keep on mixing their name? From Indolark's, he'll just punish them, but we'll see. Oh, new commander guy. I like his visuals. I like his wavy-ish hair. Ha ha ha. Green. I'm a fan of green, y'all, as you can see from my border art. Yes. Okay, new introduction. So I wonder if the prime minister quits, he's quick-witted. He's gonna put 2 and 2 together and figure out Indolark's feelings for Seii-san. Wait, what was that? Why do we get a few seconds of the miasma and then it comes back to this? See, he's way too pragmatic. I guess that's the difference in perspective, or what would you call it? Because from his world, money, but from their world, it's more reputation that matters, right? What was he doing with his finger? That okay, I'll go back. What is? Oh no! Oh, my head's in the way. Wait. Okay. Let me shrink my head down so you guys can see this. Oops! I moved the wrong thing. The stragglers. This thing. You see his little pinky up. What is that boy doing? Okay. You see? Okay. The prime minister just does not care about Seii-san. I think as a human, he only cares about him as an asset, because he didn't really get upset about this. He's just looking at the paperwork and how they can treat the miasma, whereas Indolark cares about Seii-san's health and yelling at him and all that stuff. So it's like, my ship's not gonna sell at all. It's not even gonna be built with the prime minister, What? Sis! Why would you pay him for the magical treatment part, at least? That he already said he didn't want anything, and it would only imply that he is a prostitute. Why would you still do this? It's just gonna hurt his feelings. I feel like Seii-san's being really inconsiderate right now. Has he forgotten that previous conversation that they had? This boy. Is he just saying that it's just purely transactional between them, that no feelings should be developed or involved in this? It says I'm just cutting the line right here, cutting it, parting the ocean so that the ship does not sail. He took the monies. What does that mean? Well, I know what that means. He's just taking it so it's Seii-san feels better, but still, don't accept it. All right, guys, you see where this is going. So he's like, it's better to gradually layer it over like a protective film. So what does that mean? They have to like gradually have intimacy together, like over and over. You see where this plot's going? I see where this plot's going. Is that what it's implying? And like they're in the bedroom. So yeah. Ah. Ah. Part of me is squealing because hello, yes, sit on my lap. But also like, what is this development? Huh? What is he confused about? What is being insinuated here, huh? All right. All right. Let me chillax. Let me chillax and just watch this. And okay. What? Boy, you are in a bedroom and sitting on this man's lap, and you bring up the prime minister. Seii-san, how inconsiderate of you. This boy, I'ma smack you, Seii-san. Is he just extra dense or something? Like, I understand if it's just casting magic where, okay, Indolark just has to sing to him, but this whole thing requires them to be, like, so intimate, and I feel like he's just being very inconsiderate saying that out loud. That should be, like, an internal monologue thing, you know? You're sitting on this guy's lap right now. What do you think it is? Was he jealous because the prime minister used his first name before he did? Are they gonna kiss? Yep, okay. It wasn't even a kiss that you see. It was like from behind the forehead. Like, come on, give me a little more, please. Everyone's happy about the banquet, but Seii-san's like, hello, we are in a deficit here. Why would you have this banquet? And there's no way he's gonna call it off because, you know, it's a special occasion. It's almost like, I know this is more so for the maiden, but it's like, oh, Seii-san's debut into society. Our puppy, he's so cute, but so tiring at the same time. Wait a minute. Maybe not prime minister. I can see our puppy being second male lead, but I mean, stop. It's probably not gonna happen. He's just too pure-hearted. But you know, one can surmise. Okay, why didn't they show any of that? I feel like I need some of that with my eye bags. What is this? You don't. Guys, just because you get rid of eye bags, it doesn't make you a whole new person, right? Like, this is a bit dramatic, right? All right, but we'll let this go. Oh, okay, that was it. Okay. I feel like I enjoyed these 2 episodes more than the first 2. But also at the same time, the way in which their relationship is being developed, I really don't understand how Seii-san is just so nonchalant about it. I feel like he does understand that Indolark has romantic feelings for him, but he is suppressing that because of the cultural aspect of it. And Indolark here is subliminally being rejected by Seii-san in a lot of occasions, but he's still pursuing him. So we'll see how their relationship develops. I mean, I think it does make sense for the age difference where Seii-san is more mature, so he can compartmentalize his feelings a bit more. He's more on the practical side, right? Versus the more emotional side where you see Indolark is with his feelings and outbursts, because he's only 22 and it's his first love. So he doesn't have the experience, whereas Seii-san, we know that he has romantic experiences. So I think that's the two difference, right? Where they are and what they value, which I think makes sense on both sides. So yeah, I think I'll be watching a bit more. At this point, rather than their relationship, I'm more interested in seeing how the maiden the Holy Maiden will react with the miasma. I mean, even continuing now, I think the story would be fine without the romance between our two male leads. I would be I would be okay with this story if the romance was taken out and he is just an accountant in this world. I don't know if I would even enjoy that more, because then you wouldn't be so sidetracked with the romance aspect of the story, and there would be less holes and gaps between. It would just be more focused on the accounting aspect. So I'll continue to watch more of this series. It does progressively get better. I'm like happy I'm not seeing more 3D renders of this. So more to come, you guys. I hope you are enjoying the series so far too. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is the BL needed? Like, is the BL even a large part of the story in terms of their interaction? I mean, obviously it's not, right? Because they're not even showing any of it. I don't think it's necessary to move the plot along. I mean, it keeps him alive, but even without the relationship, I think the doctor can figure out Seii-san's constitution and treat him based on that. Like, Indolark is not the only one that can treat him. He just puts himself in that position. So if Seii-san just gets a physical exam from the doctor, then I think he can be treated through that. There are definitely alternatives to Indolark's treatments, it seems so far. But we do want their relationship to develop too. So I am intrigued to see how Seii-san would handle when Indolark will potentially confess to him. It's just a little uncomfortable how back and forth Seii-san seems to be. Like, one second, I think he does realize Indolark's intent, but then he suppresses it. And then in another part, his dialogue, he just seems so what's the word? Oblivious to Indolark's intent with the physical intimacy and all. Like, when he was sitting on Indolark's lap, being given that treatment for the protective layer, and how he just mentions the prime minister. So yeah, I feel like he's just inconsiderate at moments. It's just his character is inconsistent, you know? It's mature emotionally and realizes Indolark has feelings for him, but then chooses, like, at his own convenience to say things that, like, potentially could hurt Indolark. Or is he intentionally saying it to push Indolark away? I'm not really sure from a viewer's perspective. Like, the character's motive is not clear in those situations, so hence I see it more as a character flaw than actual well-written, like, character development. Let me know what you guys think about that, like how wishy-washy Seii-san is at parts, and how a little backwards it is. Because as from a viewer perspective, I want to see that development, his feelings for Indolark, but it just seems to go, like, up and down. Not in a comfortable pace that I like. It's more so confusing, you know? But then it's like, am I confused because the character is confused too? I don't think so. Yeah. All right. Yep. So we'll watch more of this. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you at the next watch. Bye.